Hey fellas, Meat Trapper here. It's another edition of Simple Trapping Sets, and today let's talk about snares. Now I really like to snare. Snares are cheap, they're lightweight. If somebody steals a snare, you're out 50 cents, you're not out $20 or $30. Snares work when there's snow on the ground, they work when the ground's frozen and you can't dig in it. They work when the ground is a muddy mess because they're up off the ground. So I really like snares. They're very simple to use. And I've got a perfect spot, and I'm going to show you how easy snaring can be. You don't need a lot of expensive accessories. You don't need a lot of fancy tools. We're going to make a set with a snare, a piece of wire, and some pliers, and that is it. Well, snaring is primarily a blind set activity. That is, we're not going to use any bait or any lure. We want to catch the animal as he's going about his business, walking down a game trail. So the first thing you have to do when you're snaring is you got to locate a good sign. You can see this trail right here. It's coming up out of this creek, and it's also going under this barbed wire fence. Now this is a classic location. You've got a red hot trail, and if you get closer you can see just how worn that is. Not only that, you can see hair right here. You can see how long that hair is. Now also, I can smell castor on this trail. So I know this is being used by multiple species. I know this is being used by beaver, and to me this looks like coyote right here. So there are two steps to hanging a snare. Number one is to fasten the snare down, and I'm going to fasten it to the fence post. And the second step is to suspend the loop. I'm going to use a double wrap of trapping wire to fasten it to the fence post, so when we make a catch the animal can't get away. And I'm going to use a single strand of wire to suspend the snare loop, and I'll show you how that's done. Very important safety tip: when you're snaring, you're working with wire a lot. Whenever you make a cut on a piece of wire, you always want to take your pliers and roll that over. That's very important because this wire tends to pop around, and it loves to find eyeballs. And rusty trapping wire and eyeballs don't make a good mix. So if you'll bend your wire over, if that hits you in the eye, that's not nearly as bad as if that hits you in the eye. That hits you in the eye, you're blind. Every time I make a cut of wire, I at least bend it over like that. Also, I have painted this snare white. Snares are difficult to see under the best circumstances, and so hopefully this will show up better on the video. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take a length of wire, and this is what I'm going to anchor it with, and I'm going to double this wire over because wire is cheap. Don't skimp on wire. And I'm going to take this and I'm going to pass it through the swivel, and then I'm simply going to wrap this around my anchor, which in this case is our fence post. At that point, my snare is anchored. Now the next thing I have to do is I have to suspend my loop about right there. So I'm simply going to take another piece of trapping wire, wrap it around here, and then I'll show you how to suspend your snare. So you want to get that to where it's good and tight and it doesn't move. Now at this point, you want to set your loop to whatever size that you want. And I'm simply going to wrap my support wire around my snare And at that point, I'm done. It's that simple. That took, what, a minute? Steps are: secure your snare to your anchor, whether it's an earth anchor in the ground, whether it's a tree, a fence post. Then have a support wire. Get that wire good and firm. You can wrap it around and do something simple like that. Now there's also an alternate method, and I learned this from Dan Desarn. And let me unwrap this a little bit. If you'll notice, when we make our safety bend, we have a little U shape right there, a little trough. We can turn that perpendicular, and we can actually clamp that to the wire. Crimp it down like that. You can use that method as well. There we go. Works just as well, whatever you prefer. Take a closer look at our set, sort of an animal's eye view. And there you go. Took me less than a minute to make it. That's a very effective set. That'll keep working no matter how hard it rains, no matter how cold the ground gets, and even if we got some snow on the ground, that set would still be going. About the only thing that can put it out of commission is if the lock got iced up and wouldn't slide freely. Now let's say that I haven't made a catch here, and I'm not going to be able to check my sets for a couple of days. Maybe I have to go back to work, or something's come up. The great thing about a snare set, I'm going to close my loop, and I'm simply going to move it out of the way. At this point, my set is no longer working. I don't have to worry about checking it, but when I come back and I want to make a reset, all I have to do is pull that loop back down, readjust my support wire. Everything is done, and I'm back in business. I can literally do a remake on this set in 10 seconds. So I can, unlike a body grip or a foothold, I can take these snares in and out of action very simply, very easily. I hope this has been useful, and happy trapping.